Welcome back. It is the end of the Fall Cup. We are finishing up Fall Cup, thankfully, as my keyboard is not working properly.
There's a lot of F's in that sentence.
Eagle, can you tell me about keyboard, man? I don't know what's going on here. Thanks, man.
He
Appreciate it.
literally cannot type FPS.
F or G. It's not working
F
right
is
now.
for keyboard, and that's good enough for me.
The F and the G is not
It's okay, Mo. You can just introduce who we are and then ask us questions, and we'll answer those questions.
We got Peeze in the saddle, and also we're joined by a person who started off the whole process
Wrap it up.
and wrapping it up now, and Iggy Magnets. Iggy.
Which, by the way, thank you for subbing. I can actually say it in person now. I've also said it in person, but for the audience, theater of the mind.
Welcome.
Excellent. As we are now in the final day of action, we did have some finals on Monday, and now we have a whole bunch on Wednesday coming up here, which we'll look forward to breaking down. And, of course, get ready for the winter season. I know a lot of questions are abound as we get closer and closer towards winter 2022. But as we wrap up Monday's action in St. Laurent with the Tier 1 that happened with KGP against Urgence-Medic.
Great game of the week, by the way.
It definitely was a really good game of the week. Urgence-Medic really...
He's really stressing the dick and medic.
Yeah, of course.
Well, why would you stress the med?
Of course. KGP winning that game yesterday. Relatively easy, in fact. Scorekeeping that game, they actually hit on 3 2-point converts. And this UM never got into rhythm.
But UM started in rhythm, and then it just went away. Jesse scored on his first 2 drives.
Yeah.
You know, there was that great pass where he threw kind of across his body to Matthew Hood, Flag Jesus. We saw the halo got dropped in the
cool.
game of the week.
Of course.
But it was strange. To your point, Mo, like they just sort of ran out of steam halfway through. And KGP have to be the team with the most disparate regular season play and postseason play.
Yeah, and
They're a different team.
And Dylan Garber actually had a monster game. How many
MVP. 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, 7 receptions on 8 targets.
Yeah,
Off the top of the dome, that's amazing.
Yeah, he had a 40 bomb to end off the game, essentially,
Yeah.
right? It was,
And he went out at the 1?
he got the touchdown.
He
got
walked
the
it in?
touchdown.
Okay, I
Walked
thought
it
he
in.
had that respect. He's like,
Well, what's wrong with the...
He's ucked. He's ucked, Eagle, because he can't type the F.
Oh.
So your keyboard is completely screwed because it's not just your F or G keys; it's also V, B, R, T, and 4 and 5.
That's so many words and numbers you can't type.
How did you figure that
Well,
out?
and I was waiting for you to send me that $5,400 e-transfer, so I'll have to keep waiting, I imagine.
Yeah, I guess so.
So honestly, Mo, you're gonna have to get your keyboard replaced. There's likely a problem with your keyboard. Now, if not that, it's your motherboard, but I really doubt that it's probably your keyboard.
Oh, man, this sucks. What a bad day today's been for me.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I'll have to rely on the TV screen now for my keyboard action here.
I don't have another keyboard for you. I think if I did, I'd give it to you.
That's okay. No worries. Not the end of the world.
Okay, you can totally trust me and Iggy.
yeah.
I've never once tried to use chaos to derail a show. So you can trust me.
All right.
I figure this is just karma for all the episodes that you tried to start off by
Silence.
saying nothing
Yeah.
with silence or drinking stuff or whatever. So, as a final huzzah to you, your computer and keyboard has decided to say, "I vote with Eagle."
Well, new keyboard will have to come into play now. I'll talk to my guys. See what's up then. All right then.
But yeah, my point, going back to Dylan Garber, MVP of the game, I think. I mentioned it in my first 2 podcasts when I was on the show. It's that 10, 12-yard hook on the sideline that they just leave it open. And then he was utilizing the pump to Garber and then Julien Payment's snapper underneath just to get some extra yards.
Well, I think also they had some pretty big plays on defense that helped them a lot. Kwesi Gordon-Mole had a monster game, patrolling and controlling the middle of the field.
I actually think, to me, the player of the game is Julien Payment because he forced a lot of back foot throws from Justice Dupree, and we talked about it. I've always said spirals are irrelevant. This game proved that spirals can be irrelevant in Tier 1 because there was like 2 combined spirals between both quarterbacks.
Of course.
Not some pretty
and
throws.
that was look. Props to KGP because now three-peat, right? They've won 3 titles in 3 consecutive seasons, beg your pardon, right? Spring, fall, and then hold on. Because we didn't have a 2020 proper.
They're the Michael Jordans of FPF. They need to retire, come back, win another 3.
So they won.
Well, we didn't finish. So they won spring.
Spring.
We didn't finish our fall season.
Our winter season.
We didn't finish or the fall.
Fall, winter, yeah.
So they won spring 21, fall 22. Sorry, spring 21.
Spring 20.
And spring 20. So spring 20,
Yeah.
spring 21, and then
And now
fall
Fall
21.
Yeah.
What a weird sequence of
Yeah,
success.
but technically a treat. It's pretend it was a work stoppage.
Yeah, that's true.
Lockout.
That's
We locked
true.
out the FPF players, specifically locked down because they're terrible.
Do we want to talk about the journey of how Urgence got to this final, by the way, just for the community to know? Because I know there's a little bit of confusion right now in terms of, well, didn't Blessed win, question mark?
Blessed didn't win at any
Urgence
point.
didn't
Never
win,
won.
question mark?
Blessed
Never
lost
win.
2.
Yeah.
It was a best of 3. Not really, but Blessed lost both games. There was an ineligible player who was approved by FPF. The game was replayed. Although I thought the best thing would have been if FPF made a mistake, it's not the team's fault. I thought the game should have stood as was, but it was ruled that the game would be replayed. It was, and then Urgence Medzic won again, although they won on the last play of the game while I was there.
Yeah.
I believe it was Alexis Gaumont breaking free on a drag across the goal line and leaving Blast with 2 plays to try and win the game, and they couldn't. You know, the 40 bomb is not Stephen Harpersaud's game,
No.
and so it put them in a bad spot. They won the game.
So again, are you disappointed by Bless not having a more of an influential run in the playoffs?
I mean, we thought that game
Well,
was going to be the.
ask Iggy.
Oh,
Yeah,
sorry.
ask
I know.
Iggy.
I lost my headset for a second, so I
Oh,
didn't actually hear your question.
Yeah.
I don't think so. They had their amazing run in last spring. They did very well playing in Tier 1 against tougher competition. I think as a season, they proved their mark. They proved their worth, that they can compete, they can play, they can beat these teams. They obviously want to win. That's everyone's goal is to win a championship. But I'm not disappointed. I'm happy with their progression and how they suited up against these Tier 1 teams.
Well, okay, looking ahead here now, because we've always had to talk about Bless. Maybe the Outlaws are kind of a branch of the Bless team and stuff like that. And maybe this core will not be together for the winter season, if there is a winter season, which we hope there is. What happens with this core Bless team?
Well, they're back.
Well, they are
They're
in
back.
Div 3.
Div 3, right?
Yeah.
So do you think they'll have that same success of dominance that they've had under this moniker the last 2 seasons?
Iggy and I had this conversation at the field on Sunday. Div
the
3
years.
looks to be the deepest division in FPF.
I don't have the back
Oh,
office.
I think it was
access.
Alexi then.
Yeah, I don't have exactly the
Yeah.
back office access as you guys do, so I only really saw Blessed as the only Div 3 team. But you told me, mentioned to me that,
it's a really
that
deep
it's
division.
crazy.
But honestly, again, they have, in my opinion, the most talented play caller and the most gifted play reader in Stephen Harpersaud in all of FPF, and his whole skill set combined, like we talked about maybe a couple of weeks ago. Look, you're playing in Division 3 with someone who might be a top 5, top 7 quarterback in FPF.
Yeah.
So that in and of itself, I know it's not. It doesn't. It's being quarterback is not the end all of FPF, but
It's a big part.
yeah, it's a leg up.
Huge part.
It's a leg up for sure.
So KGP, what do you forecast there? I don't know where they've signed up.
They got to retire, go to baseball, come back, win another 3-peat.
I feel like San Francisco Giants back in the 2010, 12,
It was
and
actually a
14
Michael
season.
Jordan reference. I'm saying they're the Michael Jordan of FPF, perhaps. No,
Perhaps they could.
It's not. Listen, it's not the finest. It's got to be KGP because they got the 3-peat.
They do. They definitely do. Anyway, a lot of questions to be answered, and again, we'll have more on that moving forward. As we move now towards Tier 2 and Tier 3, again, I am incapable of using a laptop.
We had another game that
pick
happened
one
last
so I can
night,
open a tab.
actually.
Another
Well, that's why
final.
we're gonna dive into that game, into that tier.
Which
actually.
game?
So
Which
it was
game, which
the
tier?
Tier 3 Constellation B Bowl, which was the Theo Ojeaha Bowl, 7th rounders versus Pardon My Swag.
Which we'll get to in the Tier 3 coverage.
Sure.
Well, it was the only other game.
Just
final
tell us
that
what
was
we're doing
different.
so we can open the right tab.
Tier 3.
Tier 3, I guess.
Seventh
So
rounders,
since
part of my
Eagle,
swag.
Since Eagle wanted to change it up here.
Just to wrap up the Monday games, the finals, right?
Yes.
So I took a look at the box score. Frankie Scalzo, like really great game. 18 of 26, 200 yards, 201 yards to be precise. 5 TDs, no picks. The no picks is the key there. Though I was surprised that it was a 7-point game because the 7th rounders threw 4 picks. How did a game with 4 interceptions one way and 0 the other way end up so tight like this?
Well, first off, Craig Browning almost botched it because we look at PMS. They had the ball. It was a 3rd and, I think, 4 with essentially 4 plays to go. So they get the first down. Game's a wrap. They had a lead. So Brown catches a 5-yard out. Okay, cool. Catch it, kill off the game, and that's it. We're wrapping up. He's backing up, and 7th rounders back up themselves, and well, let him score because we can catch up and maybe make a run at it. So Browning scores, and I can see PM was like, "Why you score, man? Like we could have ended the game right now." And then PMS, fortunately, ended up winning the game because again, 7th rounders could not get that last Hail Mary touchdown to go their way. But I just, watching that game yesterday, I thought 7th rounders got off to a slow start. It was a very slow burn for them to get out of the blocks. And for Frankie Scalzo, it was a good building block for him because I just think that he's had an up and down season, learning the position that he's trying to grow into, given again with the cap that they couldn't have the normal PMS roster be at full force. So, I think it was a good effort for Scalzo. If I had to give him an overall grade, I think I'd give him probably a C+, B- in that range for now. I think there's still
for the season. You mean
for the season?
Because this game was great. Like that's that's the Frankie Scalzo they needed to win a win a bowl championship, and they did. And then on top of that, Iggy, you asked like, how does the game, given all those interceptions and the way it does, it's because 7th rounders get a score from Jafar Hassan 6 yards out to end the half ostensibly because the ball went back for one play to part of my swag. They just punted it to kill the play. So essentially, it was as if 7th rounders had an extra possession, so to speak.
Right,
because
they started with the ball in the second half, so they did the.
Well, no, they started in the first half. They started with the ball and ended with the ball.
Okay.
So it's like they had 2 extra possessions in the first half, and then part of my swag sort of just maintained control throughout in the second half. And it was just like at that point, part of my swag knew, well, the game is in our control, and all they had to do was just make sure that they ended with the ball, which is what happened with Craig Browning. Yeah,
and I just think now, I think 7th rounders has some elements that can work in their favor to come back. One thing they have to do though, change those goddamn numbers, those gold numbers.
It's kind of hard to read.
You can't read those numbers. It sucks.
Sometimes though, when you see the mock-up, like when you're getting the jersey, you think they'll look good. By the way, I highly recommend getting a graphic designer to design your jerseys because they know how it'll look like in real life versus like a guy like me or Iggy trying to design it. Or like, this looks awesome, and then you get them and like, well, it's hard to see these colors from far.
Yeah, it wasn't.
If you remember the Ducks had beautiful jerseys, but impossible to read the numbers.
Oh yeah.
Doing the finals was impossible.
Yeah, you had to go by headband, like what they were wearing on their heads, and
not the easiest. Anyway, new uniforms for 7th rounders, but for PMS, I'll be rather intrigued, Peeze and Eggs, what they do next year. Because speaking to Brad Evans quickly here, he wasn't sure, right, with PMS and what direction they'll go because of the cap that they would consume.
They're going to try to go one division lower than it's supposed to be, as always.
Well,
that's what they do.
Yeah. So anyway,
that's how you keep rocking the Hawaiian shirt,
Of course. All right, let's dive into it now. Tier 2, Tier 3, whatever is left of.
Just tell us. You need to tell us what tab to open.
We'll go Tier 2 first.
All right.
Again, I am.
So we'll start with the Cash Bowl then, which is the Akked Moore Bowl, which is Chocolate Thunder versus Arouch.
Now, does Akked Moore know he has a bowl named after him?
Yes.
Okay.
He was still in the league when we named him.
All right. Anyway, so we got Chocolate Thunder against Arouch. So they met up way back in week 1, guys, and that was a chippy affair. If there is one thing that I've noticed about Chocolate Thunder playing teams that like to get touchy-feely, so we're talking about Grim Reapers, we're talking about Arouch, they had difficulty. They couldn't get into rhythm, and it'll be fascinating now to see in this game, because they started off the first week with Arouch winning that game, where Arouch stands now. Because I said to myself, man, could it be a fluke? Because Arouch had some weird losses. They lost to Useless Diablos during the first round of games that we had. And they were looking impressive in other games. So I'm just curious to see how they'll react in this second tilt with Chocolate Thunder.
Well, Arouch got a lucky win this week because they did everything to let Team Ethnic back into the game. Eric Lalonde had an atrocious second half. He ends the game with 4 interceptions and allows them back into the game. If you do that against Chocolate Thunder, the game's over.
Yeah.
Because, where Joe Cano struggles is when he makes the early mistake, right? So if he makes mistakes and then you capitalize, you're good. If you either don't force him to make a mistake early or you allow them to get their energy back by creating their own turnovers, you're not going to have a chance.
No. What do you think about that, Iggs?
Yeah, I agree with what Peeze has to say there.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
That's my analysis. No, I think Joe Cano's deep ball and just the high pointing abilities of Tim Horner and Nicky Papic.
Yeah.
Just Can't stop it.
Elite.
Yeah, elite. And
Well, you can. You need to be as physical. You need to get up there and hope that Joe Cano slightly underthrows it.
that's asking. There's a lot of
Yeah,
conditions there.
it's a lot of conditions. but Joe Cano, look, the thing is, Joe Cano's got a good arm, and he knows how to use his weapons. He doesn't have elite ball placement.
True.
So if he is a little off, you need to capitalize.
Well, you know what? I think it's improved.
It is improved,
It's
absolutely.
improved for the deep ball. Like he's got good touch on his deep balls, right? He can throw it with someone covering his guy. It's that he's got better athletes at times, right? And I think in the situation for the short passes is where I think he can have a lot of hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
And with Arouch's style of play, they'll give him the underneath and they'll take away the deep ball.
That's
so
what
can
they
he?
have- that's
Yeah,
what they have to
exactly.
do.
And if they can, if he can complete those intermediate passes, then I give Chalk Thunder a huge chance to win this football game. But if he's having the yips on those 5 to 10 yard passing range targets, then I think Arouch have a chance to pull off the victory again.
Yeah, that's going to be their the kind of keynote to success for them. I agree.
One key factor for this game, guys, for Arouch, because again, this is a team that has they felt like, let's be real, they thought that they've been screwed over by the referees numerous times here. But I find that once the referees with the 50-50 call going against them, they just go off course and they lose their focus.
Here's the thing: if you give the referees an opportunity to lose the game for you, they always will. So just score more points, and you won't have that problem. And look, honestly, I think for me it's going to come down to Simon Loisir and Antoine Prefontaine. I think they're the guys who are going to try to take away Nicky Papich?
Yeah, Nicky
That's the
Papich.
right one. Yeah, Nicky.
Papich.
Sorry, I have.
Tim Horner as well.
I know too many Papiches. And Tim Horner. And if they can do that, if they can defend those passes, and again, make Joe Cano have to check it down. To your point, Mo, I think that's where he'll struggle.
I think this might be a really good final, though. I really
Yeah, I
do.
think so too.
Oh yeah, it's a great game. Yeah.
So, Eggs, what do you think right now? Is there any matchup you're looking at that can definitely catch the eye on Wednesday
He means choose one of the other two.
In tier 2, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Thanks.
Working with Mo 101.
No, I
That question means choose one of the other two games.
I picked up on it. don't
Perfect.
worry.
I bet you went back to, Chocolate Thunder.
Well, I think it's the only reason, Peeze, you brought me here today is so we could talk about Hot Sauce Sports versus Ravens.
It makes it easier because I always find it. So it's douchey already when you have to talk about your own team,
Yeah.
and I'm sure you've seen this now that you've played quarterback. When you're quarterback of the team, it's harder
Even-
because it's hard to analyze a team without talking about the quarterback position, right?
Right, and then talking about your own receivers, and then they'll come into the huddle like, "Hey, so by the way, you said I can't run a nice hook and go." Like, no, I can run a hook and go.
Luckily, I don't have that situation. All of my receivers are the greatest of all time.
Yes,
True or
Eagle.
false? True or false, Iggy? Can all his receivers run hook and goes?
Yes. Yeah, but it's not in his playbook, so
Okay.
I mean, I threw one for a touchdown in co-ed.
yeah, true.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then.
Flip the table.
All right. Next game for Tier 2 is what?
Great analysis.
Well,
We're looking at it right now.
Well, no,
It's
I
Hot
was-
Sauce Sports versus Ravens.
Yeah, I brought it
Oh.
up so we could talk about this one.
I know.
So,
Carry
Iggy, what's your analysis?
I look. I have no laptop. I'm disorganized right now.
You still have a laptop, by the way. You just can't type specific keys.
I know.
You can't type
And
flag.
theoretically, you
plus
can actually, because there's an on-screen keyboard you can use to actually click on those letters.
Eagle, produce the on-screen keyboard.
Yes, please.
So maybe we can talk about, and I'll lead the discussion.
Sure.
But maybe we can talk about how your defense
Mhm.
needs to adjust to the Ravens' offense.
So, I'm the greatest betrayer of defense.
Yeah, you hate it.
Well, it's also my style of play is we move quickly, and so the defense is on the field a lot. And so there are games. So I was telling Eagle. So the game against Mean Machine,
Yeah.
we only trailed for a total of 7 plays the entire game.
The last 7
No,
or the last.
they scored first.
Okay.
Then we scored 3 plays later.
Okay.
Then we stopped them,
Right,
and
right,
then we led until the end of the game, where we then needed to march down the field and score with 7 plays left.
Right.
And the thing is that a lot of that is I like to play with pace, and that means the defense is on the field a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes they play better than it appears. If you see, we tend to create a lot of turnovers. We have a lot of sacks, but we also allow a lot of points.
Yeah.
It's high risk, high reward.
Yeah. They have a lot of playmakers. You're gonna have to watch out for Justin Starlabus. You're gonna have to watch out for Jeremy Ledoux, Kamba Kachalua.
Yeah.
Kachalua.
Kachalua.
Damn it.
Yeah, and look, they have size. They have sort of a tackle pedigree.
Yeah.
I was telling my guys, we probably have a slight speed edge, and that's it.
Slight, but
It's slight.
Yeah, it's like
It's just because we have more fast guys.
Yes,
It's not that we
yeah.
have all the fast. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like we have all the speed. Just that, we have all of our guys are fast.
Yeah.
You
Yes,
know?
yes,
So
yes,
that's all it is. That's
Yeah.
that would be sort of my external. What they do versus what we do is they're big, they're physical, they're smart, we're fast. Except me, obviously.
So are you excited if you were to win the banner?
Yeah.
What would you do with the banner? Would you hang it up?
Oh, I will have sex with it several times during the first week, and then I'll pass it to my next teammate.
Don't forget to write your own content into the poster itself, because there won't be a Sharpie provided to you.
Yeah,
So.
I'll remember to bring a Sharpie. And I
Let's
think I'll say,
clarify.
remember, I'll write in that white box. I would write if we win. Remember to subscribe, rate, review, and follow Hot Sauce Sports.
Let's clarify one thing here.
You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports.
That's right. I was told to bring a Sharpie at 6:10 p.m. when the retail stores close at 6.
Amazon. Same hour delivery. Double Prime.
Yeah. Triple prime on that.
But the games were where? In Saint Laurent?
That's right.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you could have found someone who lived around there to drop one off. A lot of scorekeepers.
I was the only one by myself yesterday.
I don't know,
Yeah,
Mo.
2 games.
I feel like this is a lack of effort.
Yes.
A poor
I mean, shouldn't-
display.
Shouldn't
Wow.
scorekeepers always just have Sharpies?
Yes, because after touchdown, someone's to sign their
Well,
football.
because in case, yeah, there you go. That in case
the
someone
iPad
needs to
fails.
sign a football for you.
Someone needs to sign football.
A ludicrous display from our scorekeeper.
Of
they would say.
course, piss poor by yours truly. I'll throw myself into the fire of hell
Hmm.
and understand.
That seems like a normal reaction to
Of
not
course.
bringing a Sharpie.
Of course.
The fires of hell.
Fires of
So
hell.
Centaurs tough lungs.
Look, here's the thing about Centaur's tough lungs. It's unique because Centaurs is that weird offense, if you use that term, whereas Tough Lungs, it's a one-man show. It's like there's Steph Curry and everyone else.
No,
on
I
Tough Lungs.
disagree.
How
It's
so?
not quite that
It's not
anymore. with
anymore.
Tough lungs. Yeah.
No.
How so? Like the Wrangler, Darren Magician is become the tour de force now.
Well,
Because
I think
I seen a lot. I scored a lot of their games,
Mhm.
and Lerner's still the guy for them. We know
he's
that.
the main guy.
Yeah.
But I mean, Olivier Delaris is great, even though he's not used a ton. Justin Bizarro-Gray gets a lot of looks on that offense, and he's the guy that helps move the chains, especially on 3rd and 4th down.
Even Marlon Rock.
Marlon Rock, yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good, and he's a guy they added to the roster recently. I think this might actually be his first season.
May have played in the spring. I believe he played.
think he played in the spring.
He-
Yeah.
He's a relatively new addition to FPF
Yes.
in general, though.
Yes.
So, and he's excellent. He's excellent. The other thing is, when I look at this matchup, for me, what it is that Tough Lungs is a well-structured, good team that make plays that make sense. They have a defense that is competent, and of course, the elite athleticism of Justin Lerner. But Centaurs have the best roster in Tier 2, and it's not close. They literally make the cap by 0.1. And Ryan Shalal is underrated. If Denzel Eddie Lowe, I don't think he's eligible to play, actually. I'm not sure if he's not. If he's eligible, he's the best rusher in the tier.
Yeah, we'll check.
Vincent Benjamin is nonsense. Kevin Bustani, he's probably a little before your time in FPF, but
Yeah,
he's a guy who was known to be sort of one of these lower division stalwarts who just always good.
Oh,
Then he's not eligible.
Rogers
Hugo
opening
Alamano, of
up
course,
now.
adding some size. Chris Brockwell adding some physicality. It's just a good team all around.
oh, and look who's joined us. Terry Tam.
Terry Tam is in the building.
Terry Tam's joined us.
Mr.
If
Pick
you wanna
7
come on
himself.
air, yeah, this is the last show of the year.
He's only here for our next show.
You've been listening to Hot Sauce Sports. So many free ads.
Twice.
Thank
I
you,
know.
Rob.
This has been like a battle royale of who's coming in. Who's next, Peeze? Who we got coming in next?
Well, I think we might have to airdrop the Prime Minister at some point.
Now the PM might come in here.
Yeah.
Okay, so
That being Alexis Dubois, of course.
that's right, Prime Minister Dubois. So when we look at it now from this angle of Centaurs, I score kept 2 of their games, albeit though it was a very roster depleted team. So Shalal did not play.
But when they're their full roster, they're nasty.
They can be nasty, yes, and of course they got the aloof one. I mentioned him last week.
Don't remind me.
I
I,
forget his
I
name
don't
now.
always listen to
Yeah,
while
I
we're
know.
speaking.
I'm forgetting who the guy is. Anyway, I think for Tough Lungs, if they can get into rhythm, if Matthew Lerner can get into rhythm early in this matchup, it's going to help them a lot because he's sort of that rhythm. He's a rhythm guy. If confidence-wise, if he gets a couple completions going early, it's a different dynamic. Whereas if he's down by a score or two, they're not built to come back in that situation to say, hey, we can come back if we're down by 10 plus points. Oh, look at this.
It's for a new keyboard.
Thanks. Amazing.
Most keyboard broke right as we started the show.
Yeah. I was working like 2 hours ago.
So what are your thoughts, Iggy?
I kind of disagree with Mo.
I feel like Mo's analysis for this game has been so off, and because I tend to agree with you here.
Yeah, well, I think he's wrong because I think Jason, right? Rossi, is built to come back in the game. He built.
No, I'm talking about tough lungs, though. They're not built to come back from a deficit.
Tough lungs.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lerner needs to get a lot of completions in sync here. If he's going to go early and get rolling, I think it helps him immensely.
But their but they had a really good game against Bruins that they just won by 1 point. I think they can. I think their defense can get 1 and maybe 2 stops. And if that's the case, then yeah, they could come back. So I tend to disagree with you on that one.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. We agree to disagree then.
I'm kind of with Iggy on both points. What's interesting is I want to see how Matthew Lerner does against the Centaurs defense, because their defense is predictable, but the athletes close the gaps quickly.
Right.
So you know what they're giving you, but it doesn't mean that it's easy to attack, because the windows are going to be tighter than he expects, even though he knows the defense pre-snap.
Right. All right, on to tier 3. We did talk about 7th round as PMS. So we got 2 more games left here. FSU against Westyard. In fact, we're going to go Save a Horse versus the Warriors. Okay, fair enough then. We'll go with that.
Iggy and I watched the game. Well, we watched the Save a Horse
free agent squad game. Yeah, while we were having a beer at Catalonia.
Yeah,
we were watching that and Sunday Night Football. A lot of picks. A lot of picks in the game that we saw. Like every time I would turn my head, I was looking at an interception. I like Kyle Daniels. There's a positive point and a negative point for him. So the positive point, I like this composure. His first throw, I believe it was his first pick. And may even been a pick 6. But his first throw in a playoff game, intercepted. But he comes back, stays composed, and ends up winning the game. The negative point, and Peeze, you and I saw it, he tends to run a lot and run to a side and throw off his back foot while running.
And he doesn't need to.
And he doesn't need to.
The receiver's been open the entire time, and
they're running, they're getting open, but he doesn't.
But if you know that it's there, like you know that spot's there,
it's coming,
but their offense is deep ball offense. That's what it is.
Yeah,
they love the Showtime plays than more the hey, let's keep it boring.
But if he just sits exactly there, Mo, and releases and throws the ball to the spot where his receiver will be, he'll dominate.
The ball will be a better thrown ball, less likely to get picked off.
Eagle thought after playing them that this is a Div 3 team. Let's just call it for what it is, right? But in hindsight,
they're a very good Division 5 team who probably have the capacity to eventually be a very good Division 3 team. But it's for now. There's a lot of things we saw in that game. Both teams was like, oh, they need to learn a little bit before they sort of make that next step.
So we got FSU. Warriors against Save a Horse, bigger part in here. Yeah. So this is a fascinating game because now Frayden squad is out the equation. Yeah. Save a Horse, they had a really strong start to the year, kind of faltered a little bit at the middle point of this whole FPF Cup, and now picking up even more. So, Iggy, tell me why you think the Warriors can win this game against Save a Horse.
So, as I was going with my analysis, that those throws on the run off his back foot, where it's not necessarily a tight a spiral as it can be, doesn't have to be a tight spiral as we saw, but it just floats.
Spiral's overrated.
It floats a little too long, and that's something that Adam Rabinovich, the safety in the 4-1, he can get across the field in a heartbeat, and he can pick that ball off where a lot of some of the other defenders that they've played can't. So that's that I can see Warriors forcing a couple turnovers off Kyle Daniel and taking it. And Mitch Fergenbaum, Benji Ziegler, Adam Rabinovich, snapper David Nahum. Yeah. Try stopping these guys. So they quietly and put up 44 points and 7 touchdowns and no picks. And it just they made it look easy.
I played their tier 2 team basically in the previous round in the Mean Machine, and I will say essentially, if you sit in the pocket and wait for their defense to go to where their spots are to run their shoots and all that, you have an opportunity to hit open receivers.
Right.
But as we just discussed with Kyle Daniel, if he's going to be moving all the time and throwing off his back foot, the athletes will break on it, and that's going to cause a lot of issues. and it's the guys you said, Rabinovich, Ziegler. Like these guys are fast. They're fast, and their ability to read the ball once it leaves the quarterback's hand is excellent. So
and Ziegler has
you need to get it out of your hand quickly, and you need to get it to your receiver. But again, patience is key.
And Ziegler has FPF experience, right?
Oh, yeah.
You know, playing with the Mean Machine and stuff like that. I think it helps them in this type of environment that they're going to be entering in. And it'll be unique because the Warriors have ball hawks that can change a game in a split second. So, to your point, Iggs, about the whole quarterback routine for Xavier Horace, can they be patient?
They're gonna have to be.
Yeah.
He's Kyle Daniels really going to have to move the ball slowly down the field. You made a point about they love the deep ball. They love the quick score.
Yeah.
Are you referring maybe a little earlier in the season when you saw them?
Well, I score kept 2, if not 3 of their games.
Yeah. Maybe
And-
early midpoint.
And it was like, to use a Terry Tam line for Simon Dagenet, the rocket launcher.
Yeah.
It was like rocket launchers from all over, from the like
'Cause-
USS Intrepid over here. That's what it was with these guys.
Because
It's like U.S. foreign policy.
yeah, exactly.
because I've spoken with
Or the USS TD, the use for Gronkowski.
Sure. Because I've spoken with, I believe it's their snapper, Tyler Stewart. And he's like, yeah, we changed our playbook mid-season.
I
And I'm
noticed-
like, and
sorry.
you changed it after scoring 172 points in 4 games. And he's like, yeah, we realized that you can't be too risky. Exactly to your point, Mo. So they're gonna have to be patient and move the ball and take whatever the Warriors are giving them.
To your point, Iggy, one thing I noticed in the game we saw is the maturity in Kyle Daniel in being able to attack sort of intermediate areas.
Yes. Yeah.
Where before it was don't check down, chuck it. And he got away with it, especially in the first round, where they just happened to draw less athletic teams in them. But I think they realized, oh no, let's look at where else we can exploit. I still think there's checkdowns available for him to throw early and move the chains at times. But hey, if you can stretch the field because everyone's afraid of your deep ball and you can attack in that intermediate area, that's the hardest thing to defend in FPF.
Yeah.
Our FSU against the West Yard. FSU said to me that they're going to change the name to False Kings.
University.
Yeah, FKSU's. They're
So
Yeah,
False King State? You're
Yeah,
still a
so-
state school?
so
Like they can't even step up and be like a big time school?
no, they're good
Get
guys.
outta here. What's
right?
next?
But they're like,
False
hey,
Kings Tech?
they're like, hey, Petey. I'm like, yeah, it's me.
So it's them that call you Peeze?
Yeah.
Well, one of
Mo
the-
Petey.
One of the dudes is like, yo, is that Petey over there? Yo, tell Petey what's up now. False Kings who? I'm like, yeah.
Was I actually there?
No.
All right.
They think I'm Peasy.
Okay.
And
But
they think you're Peasy, and they think your name is Pete.
But they call me Pete. But
No,
they
he's
call me
Petey and I'm Pease, or am I Mokan?
I think you're Mo Khan.
That makes my crush on your sister very complicated.
Exactly. Yeah. Incest at its finest. But no, they're like, yeah, we're going to change their name. But here's the thing, right? They're now in this bowl game against the West Yard. I don't know who's going to be available for the West Yard.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to analyze the West Yard anymore. I'm giving up.
Said it. Yeah, you've said it all season.
I every time I think they're good, they suck. Every time I'm done with them, they start winning again. You played them first game of the season.
I did.
What
Yeah.
can you tell us about that game or
I
their
can-
game?
Yeah, so I wrote it a bit in my last article, which I'll be putting one out before tomorrow's finals.
Me too.
Tyler's, yeah.
I hope you guys
I
do.
doubt that. Tyler Stern's not the greatest natural quarterback. He's not very good at all, actually. He's one of the hardest guys to tackle, though,
Yeah.
once he takes off. Deceptively fast, like his stop and start speed, really hard to defend. And they just have athletes. They just, Jonathan Steinberg, I believe is his name, their rusher, one of the best rushers in the division.
But the thing is with Tyler Stewart, it kind of reminds me of like when Benny McMahon started in FPF.
Tyler Stern.
Tyler Stern.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Is in the same. McMahon didn't have the greatest arm when he started.
Right.
Scrambled a lot, and the scrambling allowed him to change windows.
The play style, yes.
And just get the ball to his receivers
Yeah.
as unorthodox as possible.
Yeah.
And again, when he needs to take off, he does. And look, Save the Turtles are a good defense, and
Save the Turtles?
that's
Yeah,
who they played.
Oh,
this
who
past-
they played. Yes, okay.
I'm transitioning to a
Yes,
new topic.
sorry.
Sorry, my mistake. Transition. Save the Turtles are a really good defense.
Yeah.
And to see the way they controlled the game, and Tyler Stern again. So he used his legs. He took off 6 times for 46 yards. He also only had to throw the ball 19 times. So their defense putting them in good position, combined with the fact that him running the ball allows him to throw the ball less and make less mistakes, I think is what makes them effective.
Yeah, and I don't think we've really spoken his name. It's, I believe, Vincent Rizzolo.
Yeah.
Very good athlete. He breaks on ball. Like, I remember it's now 8-9 weeks ago, all my short passes immediately batted down, like, and just nowhere to be expected. Like, I'm throwing it to the outside, and he's getting in front of my guy and batting the ball down. Something that's not seen too often in the
Rizzolo's got game to him.
Yeah.
He definitely has that dude DNA where he can change a game on both sides of the football. You're bang on about that. I think Kyle Oberfeld you got to watch out for.
I like Kyle Oberfeld a lot.
Yeah, he's growing
nice
with
big
the
target,
within that tree of people. We're now joined by the Prime Minister, Prime Minister Dubois. You're here with us, sir.
Yes, how you guys doing?
Very well, Mr. PM. How are you today, sir?
Not too bad. Last day of exam/papers due, so I'm starting/finishing my last one right now.
So, hey, you never sent me that assignment that you needed my voice for, eh?
Oh, it's true.
Oh, yeah, I'll send you.
Oh, now you remember.
When we bring it up.
Yeah. All right, Mr.
On air, getting called out now.
All right, Mr. Prime Minister, we're wrapping up here. We got Iggy, we got Peeze, we got Eagle, we got Terry Tam, we got yours truly.
We got the last game to look at,
which is now the co-ed final between EZFun and Y&Y, your boys Y&Y. Your thoughts? How does Y&Y pull off the unthinkable to beat EZFun on Wednesday night?
I don't think it's the unthinkable, to be honest. I think they'd probably be favorites in this game. If you look at their record during the season,
I have information that might change that.
Oh, okay.
That information being
that Fred Brunette is playing that game. He
then
purposely sat out so Gino could throw against us. And he will be playing, so it means that Gino has to have less attempts than Kwesi during that game, and Kwesi can't be a receiver in that game.
So it means they cared more about beating us than winning the championship.
Correct, which is kind of nice.
That's your championship.
Yeah,
kind of nice. I feel good about that.
I feel like warm now.
I feel honored in losing that game.
It's like Michigan beating Ohio State, right? Whatever Michigan does now in the college football playoffs, whatever, right? They've beaten their rival. That's how it is for Gino. They beaten Peeze and Co. to win their semifinal matchup.
I think it's more Alexi and Co.
I think
I'm actually second. In terms of drawing ire for the first time ever, someone is more mad at Alexi than me.
So, Alexi, your handshake with Gino, if there was one. Was there one on Sunday? No, there wasn't?
No, it was a COVID-friendly
So
one.
the COVID rules say we can't shake hands, which is really sad.
That's why, right? That's why.
Look, what a Prime Minister answer there.
But if there was one, would it be comparable to the one that we saw on Sunday with Urban Meyer and Mike Vrabel after the Jaguar-Tennessee game on Sunday afternoon? Like, you're Urban Meyer and he's Mike Vrabel.
I'd rather be Mike Vrabel, but missed the handshake. I'm also happy being Ohio State, so I'm happy.
Google Urban Meyer, Mike Vrabel handshake. You'll see what I'm talking about.
But
Vrabel probably whispered in him like, "So you're a loser."
But really, Alexi, why do you think now that we have that information from Peeze, why do you think Y&Y would go away after scoring 41 points against a pretty decent? We're not elite, but we're pretty decent defense. Why would they go away from that game plan and decide to go Kwesi at QB?
I presume it has something to do with Fred Brunet paying $250 for a flag football season. Where expected to play.
Money.
Yeah,
Money is
money.
always the
Yeah.
reason for every question in relation to
Finances
sports.
have an influence,
Even
yes.
FPF.
Yeah.
The guy paid, he wants to play. It makes sense. I would want to play too.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's
Having been on the end of being benched by Gino in the finals, it's not fun. So I 100% expect Fred to play or Fred to get on the pitch either way.
So PM, with this, like in this situation of the DNA being altered here, does this now play into EZFun's hands that, hey, listen, they're going to change their lineup for us, and we can exploit their weaknesses on defense, even on offense for that matter?
Yeah, so 100%. The way I look at this one is they probably would have been better suited playing Kwesi against us had they known that Jonathan Harrod, who had rushed Kwesi the past 2 games, was injured and unable to rush. So if Kwesi went quarterback in our game, it would have been Iggy walking out of me. They had a conversation before. I told Iggy, "You will walk." He said, "I will walk."
Yeah, he told me you're rushing. I'm like, no, I'm not rushing. I'm walking Kwesi. Like, I'm
And then he was like,
cutting
Kwesi
a
will try
7-yard
running.
angle.
So you
And
become like
then
a
when Kwesi
glorified
tries
run
to-
defender.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. All came down to angles and
not
cutting
being able to
Kwesi
do
off.
it. Sorry. Like,
So as long as Kwesi threw the football, we liked our chances. If Kwesi ran, we like Quasi's chances. So that doesn't apply versus EZFun because Jeremy White, Theo Laving, they've got like 4 rushers on that team who are better than pretty much any other rushers in the division or players who can rush. So if Jeremy rushes Quasi, it's a relatively close match. Like any of those rushers should be able to annul the Quasi run factor enough, which means Quasi will be forced to throw passes. And Quasi's strength is not anticipating the play. It's not picking out open receivers, and it's also not accuracy. So eventually pick exactly. And the rusher will negate the ad-libbing ability, which will force this game to come down to Quasi's arm talent, which simply put is nowhere close to as good as Jeremy's. So long story short.
So in that case, then, I mean, rushers would be the key, obviously, but if there is a strength of Quasi to throw the ball, would it be his deep ball that could be shining light here in this whole situation?
No, I don't think so. I think the shining light for him would be run around and get open.
The thing with Quasi is as he runs, he tends to only throw to the sidelines because he doesn't want to throw back over the middle, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I think that, it's counterintuitive, but the quicker he gets the ball out of his hands, the more options he has available to him.
Right. Fair enough. And PM, anything else about this game that you want to bring up?
I'd love to see this game becoming like this huge ego battle between Jeremy and Quasi where they both rush each other and play quarterback and just see who goes head to head as the better athlete.
Who's going to tire off first if that was the case?
So the last game, it was the last game of the season, Jeremy claims to be as hungover as he's ever been in his life that game. So presuming Jeremy isn't hungover, I'll go with the younger legs and say Jeremy.
All right, then. Hold on, stay on the line here. We're going to do
Games of the Week.
Like, your segment's coming up.
Yeah,
how are you eating at that time?
Because it's fun.
You had 42 minutes to eat. You chose the last minute.
I finished one bag.
Birthday food.
I know. Birthday food. This guy's a sugar fiend. Okay, so PM, we're going to do the picks of the week, so you're involved as well. So here we go.
So we're going to go left to right on these. So it's going to go Mo, Peeze, E, and then El Presidente.
Who's E?
What am I picking, sorry?
We're picking in the order 1, 2, 3, and then Alexi.
Alexi's 4.
All right, perfect. I imagine I'm 2.
You are 2.
Perfect.
And lead off. Here we go.
Because any other order would make no sense.
We're starting with the Akked Moore bracket bowl, which will be Chocolate Thunder versus Arouch.
I'm going to go Thunder.
Thunder.
Chocolate Thunder.
Thunder as well.
If they go Chocolate Thunder Experience, they become CTE.
Thunder.
If they go Chocolate Thunder Arouch, it's CTA, and that's us.
There we go.
Ah.
We're honored by this game.
All right, in the Kevin Wyeth Bowl, we're looking at Centaures versus Tough Lungs.
Tough Lungs.
Centaur.
Tough Lungs.
Centaurs.
Split 2-2.
And in the Nick Arsenault-Hum Bowl, we're looking at Hot Sauce Sports versus Ravens.
Yeah, they did. They made it to the final. They
Yep,
did.
he made it.
I'm going to go Hot Sauce to win this game.
I can't pick it, so Hot Sauce Sports by 50.
Hot Sauce Sports.
Ravens.
Every time you guys pick me, I lose, so fuck both of you. Sorry, Rob.
Alexi?
Alexi, who's your pick?
Ravens, sorry.
Ravens, okay.
We're no longer friends, so...
All right.
Bye.
In Tier 3, the Carmine Pollice Bowl, we have the Warriors versus Save a Horse.
Save a horse.
Warriors.
After losing 2 straight fall cups, Warriors finally win one out. Warriors.
Lexi?
Save a horse. Save a horse.
All right. Paul Lapierre Bowl, FSU versus the West Yard.
I'm going to take my boys from FSU.
Yeah, I don't know what to do with
the
West
hardest
Yard.
one.
So FSU, I think. Give me points so I can just take the points. How's that?
FSU.
All right, FSU.
FSU/Melons.
So since everyone else is saying FSU, I'll say West Yard, but this is a false one.
And in our co-ed final, the Patrick Chenard Bowl, we have EZFun versus Y and Y.
EZFun.
Come on, Jeremy. Do the right thing. Beat Gino.
Do it.
EZFun.
Let's go. EZFun.
No one needs to ask how I'm predicting this one. Everyone knows it's EZFun.
There we go. I love the pettiness.
All
Love
on
the
Easy
pettiness.
Fun.
Who's the best out of the 4 of us here right now for predictions?
I was.
And who is next best?
Alexi.
And who is next next best.
Mo.
Peeze, you're the worst.
Peeze
I'm
was
the greatest.
the worst.
Hold on.
I-
Who
you
had,
know what it is? You guys are robots, and I pick with my heart. I love people, and I believe in people.
Hold on here. Who had the most picks? Because Peeze didn't pick all the games.
I can't. I
Yeah.
play on 2 teams.
Yeah,
And you didn't have all
No,
the
it's
games.
percentage.
Yes, it's
Don't give me percentage crap here.
No.
I was the winner this whole process.
With the
I'm
most-
always the winner in this whole process.
You're basically leading up to say I voted the most times, so
Exactly.
I win. So I win.
That's why
Doesn't
I
work-
won.
It doesn't work that way.
It works in my world like that. Champion over here. All right, so
Mo's that guy at the bingo hall who buys like 36 bingo cards and always wins because he just buys
of
more bingo
course,
tickets.
I'm like Gino DeFazio picking over here. I'll do my alternate picks here to win. All right, Mr. Prime Minister, thank you so much for joining us, my friend. We'll see you
Winter season.
Parliament, I guess.
Perhaps.
Winter Parliament. Whichever one comes first.
All right, then probably winter 2022. I guess we'll see you. Happy
Yeah,
holidays,
that's
my
nice,
friend. Be good.
Merry Christmas.
All right, so as we wrap it up here, it's been one of those funky fall cups that we've had. Fingers crossed, we'll wrap it up. That's 2 seasons that we've been able to wrap up in the COVID world of ours. I know there's questions abound about the winter season, but we look forward to having that. That will kick off now officially January 8th and 9th, I believe, Eagle.
Correct.
I mean, it starts January 8th. It's not going to be just 2 days because we have like
But it's the
150 games to play.
I
So,
know.
Yeah,
I'm
the
just saying-
weekend.
do you know though, Mo? Because sometimes I wonder.
I lose track. sometimes of
Saturday,
what's going
Sunday,
on.
8th, 9th.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but look, it's been a blast working with Peeze and Iggs as well, being a contributor along with the Prime Minister and Eagle as well, doing a bang-up job as always, eating. Let's see, he's done Halloween candy.
Yeah.
We've done Arouch. We've done
we did
birthday
samosas. We did chutney.
samosas. Yeah, we did samosas. And we've done candies. So, Peeze,
Sure.
we covered all the nutrients for him.
Full circle.
Full circle, my
That's
friend.
what the Eagles pyramid of health looks like. A circle. A circle of candy.
Not a pyramid, it's a circle.
Yeah.
You
It's
know?
more of like a moat surrounded by like vodka and gin and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
But inside is candy.
inside is candy.
Inside
Yeah.
is candy.
It's a tower of candy.
Happy birthday, Eagle. Hope you do
Happy
enjoy.
birthday.
Thank you.
It's been a blast working with you. So we'll be back next month.
Jesus. I'm so tired.
I know. We're back next month.
Registration is technically officially closed, but if you have a last-minute team, we may have a slot for you. But get it in like now, like yesterday. Like as we're recording this, your team should already have been in.
Exactly.
If you're a captain, make sure you submit your final roster if it's not already the correct one on the website, so we can make sure we get the player conflicts in place for the Sched Builder application when we do the actual schedules to make sure you don't get overlaps. Remember, you can play on as many teams as you want in as many numbered divisions as you want, but we will only prioritize 3 teams for conflict resolution with the app that we have.
So, Gino DeFazio, you're screwed. All right. So, on behalf of everyone here, we wish you happy holidays and a happy new year. We'll see you in 2022. And what will hopefully be a winter 2022, which we've been waiting for 2 years to come back in a force. Magic words, please.
The NFL now has had 75 players test positive for COVID in the past 2 weeks.
Good night, Odell Beckham.
That one worked.
Put the place up, yeah we know